Thank you. We already prepared the sabalito I found on my last fishing trip, and today we came to see if we can find any mandui around here on the surface with a float. Let's cast with this first while we catch some mojara. They told me they're active, so let's see if we can share some with you, Manduvi. We have a lot of wind in our faces and we don't have any shelter, just what's there, the dead river. So let's see if we can fish well here. If not, we'll have to move. Let's get the gear ready. For fishery, we're gonna use the PJ floats too, but in this case, obviously to search. I'm sending it out. Look, this one here is on the bottom with a little sabalo and it's biting. The float's nothing for now, so yeah. Once I set this up, we'll start catching mojara, which is the best bait for this kind of fishing, and then we'll get started for real. Let's check this rod, see if something is biting or if it has something. It wasn't biting, that's all. Look, it pulled hard, that's why I grabbed it. I don't know what's going on with this river, it's really tough. Well, while I was untangling it, the PJ, how does this pull? Does this pull? I think it's a good Moncholo by the way it's pulling. Come on. Yeah, look at that little Moncholo. To start fishing, folks. To start fishing, look at the size of that Moncholo I caught with a little sabalo. Hook for a mixed line with a sliding sinker, just like I always set them up. And here we have. Let's go. Let's take out the trap. Hopefully there are some mojaras because the river rose. With all the rain, water came in. That's why there's a bite. And sometimes when it's like that, they go to places where there's little water. Let's cast this one and then I'll set up another one for the back, because if there's a bite at the back, we're going to set up another rig for the back. A little bit of bread. And we're going to cast. We're going to use, well, we don't have a sliding sinker, so we'll have no choice but to use this one. I've lost all of them and this one is too small. About a meter of nylon. This is 0.40 nylon. This is 0.40. The first thing we're going to do is make the top part, which is where the little sinker, or the bottom part. That's what. Same thing. And on the other end is where you're going to put the hook. Here, if you want, you can add a or not, which is for changing the hooks. I'm gonna add it just to see if they reject me or what's up. So in that case, so we don't have to keep cutting all the time, we're going to use a little hook, and depending on the type of bite we see, we'll change it up. The hook that we see is good. Here I make a slip knot. I go around it about 4 times. Then you cut off the excess, always leaving a little bit, like that would be fine. Now we would have to look for the hook. Thank you. It's good. Look at the little abalones there. We catch it. We have bait. How strange. They're in questionable condition, but they work just fine for throwing to the catfish. A little yellow one, let's see, or a little pointed one. Little yellow one. This one pecked that liver and that heart. Let's just set it free. I think something's coming, but it's not biting, man. Let's see. Look, this is how the abalitos turned out. These are the bellies of the tongarel. They're small because they're the abalitos, like this. Something's coming, but I have it hooked with the... There was another nice Moncholo. It got hooked with the float too. Okay, the recording is going to move a little, but I have to go down. Isn't it a yellow? What a nice yellow. It gets tangled. The thing is, I took out the buoy and I used that rod to set up another bottom line because the fish were biting at the bottom. So what happened? The double buoy? I put this one on the Pedro rod and made a pretty long cast, but the wind ended up bringing it right back here next to me. So, well, let's untangle this and keep going. Look at this yellow one. The Moncholo is already huge. Well, I'm casting with the saber. What I found with liver and heart, which were left from the last fishing trip. We have two bottom lines here, one for right here next to us and the buoy up there. So, alright, I left the catfish here so they stay fresh because just look at them. The trap for the Mohara trap is busy. Let's see if there's anything. Well, two moyaras and a little sabalo, no doubt about it. This one must have gotten in by accident. What do you guys think, or do they eat bread? Let's see what bites with the Mohara. Hopefully the little Dorados don't attack because I've already lost about 2 with the float. I mean, I didn't even get a bite, and when I was reeling in, they hit there too. I bait it like this when I want to catch a catfish or something. Mostly the Moncholo or the big yellow ones go after it. I'm looking to see if there's any frog here in the crack. Obviously I'm checking carefully because of all the rain we've had around here. There are a lot of little bugs around, and they stay here in the little entrances that are left in the ravine. But for now you can't see any. Here's a little paw print, see? Hello, Sapo. I assure you this place gives me a feeling that at any moment... Whoa, look at the fishing rod. I was just telling him that I get the feeling that at any moment there could be bites. I don't know if that happens to you in any place. I was just about to share that with you, and I looked at the rod on the floor. And when I went to check, something had already gotten away. It had bitten, and I missed the catch. So, alright, let's keep waiting. And I assure you that something else will come up with the Manduvi. The wind makes things difficult for me because the buoys, but well, in the end we'll wait until later in the afternoon. Maybe the wind will die down and we'll find a better spot. I just added another bottom fishing rod with a Korean rig because the thing with the buoys was pointless. It wasn't working. They ended up on the shore, so well, I came prepared for that. But in the end you always have to have alternatives because fishing in this case made me have to use another method. And well, do you know how the Leguares are hunting? It's incredible. From that rock I found myself on the ground again, and I changed the hook because I realized it was kind of old already, so I replaced it. Let's see. Now if it goes for the attack, this one's going to have a sharp bite. Right on, a big bite, and that kind of sharp sudden bite. So let's see if we can share a live bite with you. Alright. Something touched the rod of the car. I think nothing's coming. Or maybe something small is coming. With this one, I cast really far with what it has, like how I handle the rod. And not even the catfish will come. But look, I was just telling you what I did to make the most of the fishing. Well, I have a bite on this one, but a small golden fish jumped right there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put out another line. Korean bait on the other rod to look for catfish because it's starting to get warm and these guys get active. These little fish. This one must have been with, I think with Moncholo. Thank you. There, the kids who are with the thief gave us a little sabalo fish. Fresh, so we're going to bait it. Well, the bite totally stopped because of siesta time. And look. Second one in a row. I'm regretting not bringing my mate. Look how nice it got. Even the wind was dying down, so let's wait. His hands at 4 o'clock. Maybe around 5, we'll try with the buoy. Let's see if we can do it. Alright, anything here? No. I know by the way it pulls, it didn't come loose. Well, let me tell you, I had cast the rod. And if you look later, you'll see. When I cast it, the tension I felt, so it was a nice catfish. Let's cast again and let's wait for it. Let's move this one to another spot because there's a lot of noise on this side and these rods haven't gotten any more bites. Look, it's biting. That one over there on that side. It must be because of the noise from the sinkers dropping from the rod holders. Something's coming here. Wildlife, right? And on top of that, the other line got me hooked. Well, we are on the second day of fishing. We're heading to a spot where we have to row for about Now about 300 meters, which would be right in front of the cliffs you can see over that way. It's a place with a lot of rough ground, where I'm mostly going to try to see if the boga will bite. Well, I have a pretty varied bait, and it's a nice spot, so as soon as I get there, I'll share it with you because the place is amazing. And the idea is to fish in this whole area, but before I get there, if I'm not mistaken, I see that there are a gill net. I hope not, because in this case it complicates everything for me because I have to go up this coast. And the fishing area will be from here up to just past that little tree over there. So like I said, I hope it's not like that because it's gonna change my fishing plans. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna use the lines we used in the previous fishing trip. Little sinker sliding. Hook for mixed fishing. We were casting for variety basically. Then we have... I had forgotten that I ran out of sinkers, so I went back to restock from the little box. So I'm going to have to be careful with the snagging issue. Here I have another one. This one is more for fishing catfish with Moncholo deeper down. And what we're going to do as well is try it out for the boga, because I brought bait, I brought liver, fresh heart, and I brought some fat too. So well, let's see. Water got into my little box and these hooks have rusted, so I think I'm going to have to throw everything away. Although the sharpness is still fine. This is fat from the same cow heart. I cut it into little squares. And I let it rest. I have to wait for the heart to freeze. And here we have the liver, here we have the pan, and we have the catfish I caught on the last fishing trip. I also have a potato there. So well, we're going to be making a fry up here while we wait for the bite. Let's throw it in the bucket. I brought worms. Let's get it wet while we cast the float for baiting. I'm just looking for where I can cast. It's really deep here. Let's see. Yeah, we can go down here. I think here. Yeah. Just a little entrance of water, perfect for the buoy. Here it's perfect. Let's cast right here, just nearby, because it looks like there are some. In case it gets unhooked, there's a chance it could get tangled with a stick or something, so let's leave it.
Shorten.
Thank you. Thank you. The search for firewood. To start getting things ready little by little. The food. For now, the fishing is a bit slow. The water is flowing, which is strange because when the water flows, usually something comes out. I tried to catch moshara and nothing, not even a bite from a moshara, only little catfish were getting hooked. So, well, I'm going to have to wait while we do this. Afterwards, I'll probably try to catch some and switch things up to see what we can fish. And finally, after we prepare the food, we can use the kayak to cross to the other side and try farther away. We have to be about 15 or 20 minutes away from the place where I caught these catfish. So after we prepare the food, we're going to take 2 rigs already set up in the kayak and we're going to head over that way. And I'm going to position myself right in front of where I caught the first catfish. That way I have the perfect and clear cast to this side. I might even be able to cast with a float. I don't know because like I said, the water is flowing beyond the wind, the water is moving. But anyway, in a bit, when we finish this, we'll go over here to the side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the essential, the lemon. Look at how the potatoes turned out. There were a lot more, but I kept eating them. Well, friends, I'm already heading out to the fishing spot. As for the float I had left, nothing either. And as for the other equipment, nothing as well. So, well, the best thing I can do is move to another spot, change things up, and see if we can get some bites from some catfish like the ones we found the other day. We're going to go to the same place, but even better, do you know why? Because where we're going is where exactly? It connects the well area with the entrance to the dead river, which is where the big fish mostly go in to hunt. So, well, we're going that way. As soon as I arrived, I set up the gear. I have 3 set up. I have this one that I just checked because it got caught on the chain link that was down there. I took it out and, well, the others are back here in the pipe holes. Alright, we've arrived at the spot. Let's get started with the... This is hard. Let's get started with hard. We're here waiting. The bite picked up pretty well anyway. Well, we changed spots because nothing was biting, so we're going to stay here in the shade for a while. And we're going to cast a few lines on this side because it looks pretty nice. Let's see if it bites. This place is beautiful. I did a fishing and cooking here about a month ago. I think a month and something here. But it was lower. I mean, I could walk this whole stretch. Notice that I have shade this espinillo tree because the sun is at my back and where I was fishing would be way over there. But I was on the opposite side, so the sun was killing me, and on top of that, I didn't get a single bite. No, in this spot it is usually around there where you get bites from boga because there's a lot of rock and snails stick to it, so you always tend to catch a boga or 2. Let's wait a while and see if we get lucky. Well, friends, in the end, nothing else happened, so there's nothing left to do but leave. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and for being a part of this.